Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Chaffee. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes on this very cold Thursday morning on the 19th of December. And looking at temperatures, we are in the teens just about everywhere, and we still have a pretty busy wind running from the northwest with gusts in the generally the 20 to 25 mile per hour range along the coast. The winds are a little bit more behaved inland, but that is certainly creating some wind chill issues. So you could knock off about 10 degrees in terms of how it feels. And this is going to be a very cold day indeed, because high temperatures today won't be getting out of the 20s just about everywhere. It might make low 30s down around Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, but everybody else will be in the 20s. And then if you head up the Hudson Valley on up into western Massachusetts and into Vermont and New Hampshire, here we're talking about temperatures that aren't going to be getting out of the teens. And we do have another cold night tonight ahead of us, but the thinking is that the temperatures might be a shade more behaved, as most lows will be in the upper teens and lower 20s. The satellite loop this morning shows very little going on. The lake effect action has diminished considerably to almost nothing, and skies are pretty much clear from the Mississippi Valley all the way to the East Coast and down to Florida, except to southern Florida. And we're starting to see, by the way, the seeds of the next weather system that is going to be moving across the Gulf states and then out off the Florida coast over the weekend. This is not going to climb up the eastern seaboard, because we're going to have a nice high built over in the east that is going to wind up holding this and keeping this to the south. We've got some action coming in to the west, particularly the northwestern part of the U.S., but it's another one of these systems that is dropping southward through California and then eventually making its way straight to the east. There's no mechanism in the atmosphere to bring things up the East Coast. If you look at the clouds along the Canadian border, that's the northern part of the jet stream. It's pretty far to the north, and there's not a solid shortwave that's coming down to pick up all the stuff that's going to be developing down south. Here's the radar as of 8 a.m., and you can see how quiet it is. I mean, a little bit of shower activity down in South Florida. You've got some rain and snow coming into the Pacific Northwest, but everywhere else is fine. If you're traveling for the Christmas holidays or for Hanukkah and getting an early start, well, this is a good travel day, because there should not be much in the way of any weather-related travel delays through most of the U.S. So we've got this cold high over Lake Huron and another high center in eastern Kentucky. The Arctic boundary has made it down into North Carolina, but we've got cold temperatures this morning in the 20s to around 30, all the way down into South Georgia, northern Florida. And the northeast flow is beginning to set up across the southeastern Florida, as well as we set up for this next storm system. So really, at this point, I think for the next 5 or 6 days, we're going to be in pretty good shape here in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states anyway. The cold high goes out just slowly. There's a little reinforcement from another high coming down into southeastern Canada. That kind of slows the warm-up a bit. Otherwise, we would bounce fairly quickly. And then as we head for the weekend, we're going to start to see our temperatures moderate. In the meantime, you'll notice that there's rain developing. Let me just run this back. You've got that rain and snow coming into the northwest, but you start to see rain developing along the Gulf Coast and the central and eastern Gulf of Mexico with low pressure there. But again, it's not going to be able to move up the eastern seaboard. It does bring some rather rainy weather to the southeast, to the coastal southeast anyway, and down into Florida for later Saturday into Sunday. The northern fringe of that rain gets to northern Georgia, northern South Carolina, and then out. So we're protected here. Temperatures will continue to moderate through the weekend and into next week. And in fact, I really don't see any issues regarding precipitation right through Christmas Day. We may have to wait till the end of next week for any kind of rain shower activity if this if the models are correct, with the next storm going by out to our west. So if you want to look at where the temperatures are going to be going in the coming days, we are seeing readings that are going to be topping out on Friday, probably back into the 30s in most places. Saturday, we should see temperatures start to jump up a little higher. We'll be in the mid-30s, maybe a few warm spots get up close to 40. And on Sunday, we should be up nicely in the low to mid-40s, and moving into Monday and Tuesday, we take a quick look there. We could see temperatures push up well into the 40s to around 50 on both days. So, and on each of those days, we will have at least some sunshine to deal with. So that is definitely a positive here. So I think we're looking good as far as the weather going into Christmas. Doesn't look like a whole lot of storm activity happening across the country. And you know what? That's a good thing. If you're traveling around to visit family, or if you've got family coming in to visit you, you've got no weather complications. So stay warm today. We'll have more website posts coming up. I'll do a little long range maybe late this afternoon. And we'll have our regular YouTube live stream on my YouTube channel, Joe Chaffee, which is at 7 o'clock tonight Eastern Time. And by the way, you can watch those live streams on my free weather app, the Meteorologist Joe Chaffee weather app. Or also make sure you download Angry Ben's weather app, the Angry Weatherman. So have a great day. We'll see you later.